Come to Helmuth Ford, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shuttler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
Lace up your running shoes and join the community for the Jace Race 2026 on Saturday, June 6th at North Mahaska Junior Senior High School. The 5K walk and run begins at 8 a.m. and honors the memory of Jace Carrico while bringing the community together for a fun-filled morning. Registration is open now. Just scan the QR code on the event flyer or visit the North Mahaska Education Foundation Facebook page for details. Come run, walk, remember, and enjoy New Sharon Spring Festival activities afterward. The Jace Race 2026, Saturday, June 6th at North Mahaska High School. Be part of something meaningful.
Nice weather is finally here, and it has a funny way of inspiring home projects. Good news, your hometown lumber store is ready to help make those ideas happen. From quality decking and railing to energy-efficient windows and beautiful new doors, you'll find the products, expertise, and service you need to upgrade your home this season. So whether you're building, updating, repairing, or finally getting started, we're here to help every step of the way. Visit Sigourney Lumber today. Everything you need for summer projects, all in one place.
Mahaska, Keokuk, and Jefferson County friends, I need your help. Right now there's a coordinated effort to get Democrats to switch parties and vote in our Republican primary for my opponent. While he is supported by woke activists and Democrats, I have been endorsed by the Iowa Farm Bureau, the NRA, Iowa gun owners, and grassroots from across Iowa because I have fought for property rights, lower property taxes, and expanded gun rights. If you believe Republicans should decide our primary, not outside activists and Democrats, I'm asking for your vote today. Early voting has begun, or vote on Election Day, June 2nd. I'm Helena Hayes, and I approve this message.
Get ready, Southeast Iowa. Skunk River Radio proudly presents the free outdoor concert celebrating 1 year of real country Skunk River Radio, powered by headline sponsor Oski Dental. Join us Saturday, June 13th at the Pavilion on the southeast corner of the Sigourney Square from 6 to 9 p.m. for a huge night featuring the Sinclairs with special opening act Neva Alden. Enjoy live music, food from Dr. Spud's Gourmet Potatoes, and thanks to our amazing sponsors, including Sigourney Body Shop, Mahaska Drug, Tassel Ridge Winery, Amy's Salon House and Spa, Sigourney Motors, Shuttler Insurance Services, Keokuk County Hospital and Clinics, Nutrien Ag Solutions in Keswick, Lifetime Dental Solutions, and We Care Pediatrics. Admission is free. Saturday, June 13th from Skunk River Radio. Welcome into the Tuesday Night Tune-Up. That's the name of this program. We're live at Rock Island Tap in Oskaloosa. We thank all of our sponsors for making things possible. That includes, of course, the Rock Island Tap. We thank Bates Funeral Chapel, Nutrien Ag Solutions in Keswick, Copeland Auto Body, Signs Plumbing, Southern Iowa Speedway, Oski Dental, James Family Greenhouse, Sigourney Body Shop, Sigourney Motors, Vans Racing, and Glory Motorsports. So many sponsors making things possible here on Steve Shuttler Media. We've got a great show for you tonight. Southern Iowa Speedway Hall of Famer in the house. Are we excited for that tonight, everybody?
Woo! Yes.
Rocking crowd. We're going to start things off, as always, with Safe Curtis and our man Josh from the Rock Island Tap. Guys, take it away.
Welcome back, race fans, to TNT, the Tuesday Night Tune-Up. We are so glad to be here on this Tuesday night. I tell you what.
Seems like a Monday with the holiday.
Seems like a Monday. Yeah, it is. It's kind of that weird Monday, Tuesday kind of thing going on. And I'd say right now the star of the show is kind of like sometimes when you get to the track and you accidentally have a spark plug wire on the wrong plug there on the distributor. It's
not good. But
we're starting off a little rocky, but we're getting there. We're getting there,
the
folks.
ship.
So yeah, absolutely. So we got Josh with us tonight. Look at that!
Love that guy.
They go wild for him here at the Tap.
The legendary Joshua.
I tell you what, if we didn't have Josh, I don't know what the show would be at this point, honestly.
Well, you'd probably have somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Fair
enough, Josh. So, again, the TAP has a lot of different events coming up, and I know you are excited to talk about some of those events coming up here at the TAP.
I'm so excited.
We can tell it's oozing
So
out of you,
excited.
Josh. Oozing. So why don't you tell us what we got going on at the TAP?
Well, Thursday night from 7 to 10, we've got Nick Ryan.
Wow. Woo.
Love that guy. And then Sunday, we've got bingo from 1 to 3. We really don't have a lot going on the rest of this month. I mean, we only got a couple of days left. So,
Literally.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Not very much time.
no, just a few
that's
days.
still a good
It is. It's
lineup
a great
here for
week.
a few days. You guys had a pretty big deal over the weekend, and that went all sounded like it went all well. So that's awesome. We just thank you, obviously, for hosting us here, Josh, and again for providing some cool things for the folks in the area to do and relax and unwind a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's always a good time here at the Rock Island Tap.
Absolutely. Well, Josh, we're going to let you go. We're going to let you try to get through that herd of ladies downstairs waiting for you here. And
Fans.
We wish you luck. Yeah, we can see them all line up. There's got to be at least, 10 to none down there. So
We're gonna need more.
You're
than
gonna
one
need-
Sharpie for autographs.
yeah,
that's for sure.
absolutely. At least 2. So
At least 2.
yeah. Well, Josh, thanks for coming on, telling us what's going on at the TAP. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be back with Ron Verbeek here in a few minutes.
Looking for a laid-back bar with a great selection? Head to the Rock Island Tap at 206 Rock Island Avenue in Oskaloosa. With 24 beers on tap, you'll find everything from craft brews to your favorite domestics, plus whiskey and ice-cold Bloody Marys. Grab a snack with popcorn, chips, or a frozen pizza, or better yet, bring your own food and make it your kind of night. Just remember, 21 and over only. And yes, you'll need your ID. The Rock Island Tap in Oskaloosa. Simple, relaxed, and all about good drinks and good times.
When families in Oskaloosa need compassion, comfort, and caring support, they turn to Bates Funeral Chapel. At Bates Funeral Chapel, our warm, home-like atmosphere and attentive professional staff provide a comforting place for families to laugh, cry, remember, and begin the healing process following the loss of a loved one. Whether your wishes are traditional or unique, we are committed to creating a meaningful and professionally orchestrated service that honors every life with dignity and care. Bates Funeral Chapel, 114 South 7th Street in Oskaloosa, where service is more than just a word.
At Nutrien Ag Solutions, we are dedicated to your success. We partner with growers like you to expand your possibilities with unparalleled offerings. Your unique challenges are met with more customized solutions than anyone else can offer. With you, we're feeding the future together.
At Copeland Auto Body, we strive to be the area's consistent provider of advanced collision repair. We want all of our customers to have a stress-free experience when they bring their car to Copeland Auto Body. Give them a call at 641-653-2140. Find them online at CopelandAutoBody.com. Copeland Auto Body, located in Hedrick, Copeland Collision Center in Oskaloosa, and Copeland Towing and Recovery in Sigourney. For auto body and towing for Hedrick, Oskaloosa, and Sigourney, see Copeland Auto Body. Signs Plumbing, offering top quality plumbing services, boilers, and general HVAC and furnace repairs. Call James at 641-919-8973. You can also find Signs Plumbing on Facebook. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling services, call Signs Plumbing at 641-919-8973. Signs Plumbing at 208 Ackerd Street in Harper, serving the surrounding area. For top quality service, call Signs Plumbing.
Get ready for another action-packed night at the Southern Iowa Speedway this Wednesday. It's First Responders Night, sponsored by Bill and Ray's. Join us as we salute the heroes who serve and protect our communities with a full night of racing excitement, featuring stock cars, hobby stocks, Crown Vics, sport compacts, sport mods, and vintage cars. Bring the family, cheer on your favorite drivers, and help us say thank you to all first responders. Wednesday, May 27th. Don't miss First Responders Night at the races at the Southern Iowa Speedway in Oskaloosa.
Hey, we are coming back to the Rock Island Tap in Oskaloosa for the Tuesday night tune-up, the premier race show here in the area in southeast Iowa, where we have the very best drivers each and every week. In fact, we have a guy that was just recently voted into the Southern Iowa Speedway Hall of Fame, but don't call him old or retired. He is Ron Verbeek. Welcome in, Ron. Safe, take it away.
Welcome back, race fans, to TNT, the Tuesday Night Tune-Up. And yes, we have one of the three inductees into the Southern Iowa Speedway Hall of Fame. We have Ron Verbeek here with us tonight, and also the other two are Larry Mathis and Bill Shipman. So there was quite a list of people on there, and to narrow it down to three was...
Buddy, I'm telling you what, I would have had a tough time narrowing it down to 8 or 10, let alone down to the final 3. You know, it was very, very difficult, and I heard the same thing from a lot of people. So I think that the Fair Board has done a good job of making sure, you know, it's never going to be perfect, right? You're going to have people that think, oh, this person should have been on there instead of this person, or this person should have gotten voted in, or whatever, right? But the way that you can affect that is number one, nominate somebody if you think that they should be. You know, you can do that with the Fair Board, and then number two, show up and cast your vote on voting night.
Exactly.
And you know, we say that, and that's truly the way that it is. And you know, Mr. Verbeek here, I say that a little tongue in cheek, because we've probably only known each other for going on 30 years here. So
I was lucky enough to grow up watching Ron.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a racetrack.
Yeah.
You know, still racing some, which is great. You know, you're not retired. Can't say that officially.
Right.
So, but you know, Ron, you've had a wild journey to get to where you are. Again, one of the three to get nominated, and again, there was a great list. So, you know, why don't you tell us a little bit about that feeling when you found out that you did get inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Well, the feeling just to get on the list was kind of overwhelming and surreal, and also very humbling. I did not expect it. You know, and then to find out that I got voted, I mean, that's even more so humbling for me. You know, I mean, there's a lot of really good people on that list, obviously, and a lot of people that's been inducted already into the Hall of Fame, and to be part of that group is pretty cool. I mean, I never really thought I would ever be at this point, you know, let alone in the Hall of Fame, let alone even to where I've raced this long. So, yeah, I mean, to have that impact, not only as at the track itself as a driver, but also as to have the impact to the fans and the fan base, you know, locally, you might say, because obviously it is the Southern Iowa Speedway Hall of Fame. I don't know, it's kind of cool to be part of that. I'll put it that way.
Absolutely, I love how you worded that. You know, Hall of Fame is a big deal, whether it's your local track, national, or wherever.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think the thing that always gets me with it is, yes, there were a lot of fantastic names on that list. Yes, like Kurt said, it'd be hard to pick 8 names out if you were him, and, you know, seeing what, you know, I call them keyboard warriors. Say, you know, you have a lot of that, but very deserving. All 3 of you that got in, very well deserving. If you had anything to ever do with racing here in southeast Iowa, I mean, Ron, I think you 100% deserve to get on that list. So why don't you tell people who don't know how you got from, you know, point A in racing to where you're at now, being inducted into the Hall of Fame? Why don't you kind of tell us that path that you had to go on?
Well, for me, it basically started somewhere around 84, late 84, 85, helping Pat Surface. Pat and I were good friends in high school, and he and Doug DeYoung built a car together, and then I started helping them. I was living in Perry at the time, so I was coming home on the weekends and going with them to certain races. And then so that kind of gave me the taste. And to back up a little bit, my grandpa used to come to the races on Wednesday night. My grandpa Verbeek did. I mean, on the farm, he would come in at lunchtime. He'd have his lunch, take an hour nap, and he'd head to town. He'd go to the pool hall and then go to the races. And once in a blue moon,
That's
if
a
he
good
did,
day.
That's
a good day.
I mean, that was
Hard
his
work.
Wednesday gig, you know.
A
and
nap, lunch,
once in
pool
a
hall.
Yeah.
once in a blue moon, and I mean like maybe once or twice a year, and I barely even remember it as a kid. If he didn't make it in time to go to the pool hall, then he would still go to the races, and he would take me. I think my brothers at the time were too young, you know. But I mean, so that's kind of, I guess, where you might say I kind of got my taste to begin with. But like I said, it's very, very seldom. But so then when Pat decided to, Pat and Doug shared the car. One liked to kind of use it up, and the other one didn't. So then after a year, they split ways. And then I basically kept helping Pat, and then my brother Wayne was helping Doug. And I was kind of back and forth helping both of them, but I helped Pat more than anything. And then, so then, like I said, I was working in Perry, and then on Wednesday nights, then I finally got the day shift. That I would come home I would leave work, drive to Oskaloosa, come to the races, go back to Perry every Wednesday night.
Holy cow.
And,
That's dedication right there.
That is.
So then, I don't know, 1987, we were at Marshalltown, and Pat's dad was supposed to drive his car in a mechanics race, and JR decided he didn't want to at the last minute, and Pat was like, get in the car. I was like, I'm not getting my butt in this race car. I'm not going to happen. Well, he finally convinced me to do it. And I guess you could say from that point on, you know, I got the bug, and it wasn't, I think, I don't know, 3-4 weeks or somewhere in that area later that Pat had old cars sitting out back, and a car that had a cage in it. We cut it out, put another car, and blah, 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 and the rest is kind of history.
That's awesome.
And when the first time you hit the track was in a stock car in a mechanics race.
Correct.
When you hit the track with your own car, do I understand and remember it right that was that a stock car or was that a hobby stock?
That had been a hobby stock.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a big car Malibu, which had been 73 to 77 car.
Before the metric stuff,
Yes.
the big
Yes.
metric stuff
Yeah.
or big GM stuff.
Yeah, so that's what I started out with. I ran that car, till about like 80, or I got 92, and then I had Schroeder build me a hobby stock Malibu, you know, metric car, and then so that was my hobby stock career, you might say. Definitely before they had the rules package they had now, you could run any motor, any wheel tire combination, you know, but it had to be like if you were a GM, it had to be old GM stuff. I mean, it had to be a GM rear end, had to be a GM carburetor. No 9-inch floaters at that time.
No, 9 inches or floaters,
right? Unless you were had a Ford car,
then you could.
But
okay.
but no, not at that time. I think that might have started somewhere around that 92-ish mark, somewhere in there, because I know that my metric frame car had 9-inch Ford in it.
Okay, but not a floater. That was
correct.
That was the standard axles and bolt the bearing on with the retainer.
Grit your teeth on the right rear situation, you know.
Hope God's on your side there.
Right.
So
for sure. But and then so that was my hobby stock career, you might say, for those amount of years.
Talk to us, walk us through victories and championships in the hobby stock side of things. Victories. I mean, I won a few, but it's something that I never kept track of because I don't know, it just wasn't no big deal to me. You know what I mean? Worried about the next one, right?
That's exactly right. And I did win some pretty cool hobby stock races. I won the Hobby Stock Nationals at Knoxville one year. They had like 130 or 40 of us. I beat Brian Nevins coming down on the backstretch, coming after the white flag. He and I beat fenders off the car down the backstretch. He was not going to let me have the bottom, and I was taking the bottom. And
a meeting of the minds.
Yeah, and I beat him to the checker flag, and then I also won. They had a Hobby Stock Nationals at Eldon. It ended up being a Sunday day race, and we ended up winning that race as well. And there were some other wins in amongst there, you know what I mean. But I mean, The hobby stock was back in that was until about that '93 era. Some was pretty. I would say fairly crude. You might say. You know, it wasn't.
Absolutely.
We would just load stuff up and put it on a farm trailer and away we'd go. You know?
No, that's good. So then after the '93 season? Is that when you moved to the stock car stuff?
1995 is when I bought my first stock car. I bought my first car off of Brant Fuse.
Yep.
It was a used Schroeder car. And then, so then 95, 96, 97, 98 is my stock car years on my own, you know, with my own stuff. And so 95 here at Oski, I finished 6th in points and was Rookie of the Year. 96, I won the championship. 97, I tied with Bobby Griner for 2nd. 98, I won another championship.
Wow.
And
that's
I
all
think,
on your own
and we were,
stuff.
and we were at, I think I got Eldon, I don't know, I finished, top 10 in points or top 5 in points every year down there as well.
And back then, I mean, there was a lot of racing. I mean, a lot of.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
more than just what there is right now at some of these tracks.
Yeah, we would pretty much stick to half-mile stuff, and the reason why we didn't go to Bloomfield very often, because all of us had to work Friday, and that was a gear change situation. So, and we knew we'd go to Eldon on Saturday. So, my kind of rule of thumb is we'd work on the car on Thursday after Wednesday nights, and then Friday we took off. No, we didn't work on anything on Friday nights or Friday or Friday evenings. Saturday we'd work on stuff to get ready to go to Eldon. We either would now if we felt once in a while, we'd go to Des Moines because it's half mile, basically the same gear as Oski, same gear as Eldon. I always like to run a deep gear, so it worked everywhere, basically. Or we'd go to Webster City. Once in a blue moon, we'd go to West Liberty, which was quite a ways, But, yeah, Oski, Eldon
West
was kind of our
was it
go-to.
a half mile?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Back then?
Yeah, it still is. It's
Right.
other than Knoxville, it's probably the only other true half mile. Well, I mean, Eldon is, but it's such a paperclip.
Yes.
But
so was Des Moines.
Yeah, but Liberty's pretty round. Like
Oh,
Oski and Knoxville.
flat.
Is,
Big trees in 1 and 2.
Yeah, trees
Yep.
in the infield.
Yes.
You're exactly right. So kind of a unique setting there. So
Yeah, and then that was, and then we won quite a few races in a stock car. Was fair. I felt like we was always competitive. That was a tough time to be in the stock car class. I mean, it still is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking away from anything, after that or up to then. Now it's all tough. That class is super competitive, super tough. But back in the day, Jerry Mackey told me one time this Oskaloosa was his. I got to get this right. I think his 30-30-40 track or 30-40-40 track. There would be 30 modifieds, 40 hobby stocks, 40 stock cars every Wednesday night, minimum. So you were running at least there was a B main every night, and the pressure was on. I mean, if you were point leader back then, with IMCA the way the rules package was, you knew where you was going to start in the heat race, and you knew you was going to start 11th or 12th, 10th, 11th, or 12th if you was in the top 3 in the points if you made the invert. If you didn't, you went to the B main, and there was nights it'd be tough to even make it through the B main.
yeah, it's that invert on the weekly deal is always made it challenging.
Right.
And that's I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not necessarily more or less challenging today. It's just different.
Yeah.
You've got significantly more work that goes into getting a car to the track in today's world with the technology
Yes.
and the tire work and all that stuff. Not to mention more costs, but at the same time, and I've heard Jerry say the same thing. It was, Oski had the first IMCA stock car race ever.
Yep.
And has always set the bar very high.
Correct.
On the level of competition, and the cool thing I think is, that continues to this day.
Right.
A couple weeks ago, I was standing in the infield and looking at the stock car feature lineup, and I go, "Holy mackerel!
Right.
Man, this is,
Right.
Yeah,
this is 10 or 12 cars that have circumstances go right."
Yeah.
And you
for
talk
sure.
to all those guys, and they're like, "This is hard." They're like,
Yeah.
there might not be, 24 of us out there, but it feels that way.
Right.
Because of the competition and the way these cars are built now. and everyone's looking for that little advantage here, little advantage there. It comes down to your tire work and all that and whatnot. And so, Ron, you raced stock cars for a long time, and then we saw you go into the modified racing some as well, correct?
Yeah, so 97, 98 is when I drove for Jimmy Carter a few times, both those years.
You were still doing the stock car
still
stuff,
doing
and
the
then,
stock
and
car.
then running some modified stuff.
Yeah,
for Jimmy.
yeah. And then first time I ever got in a modified was out here. It was after the Harris Clash at Knoxville, where Ron Jones drove Jimmy's car over there, which was a D&M car. And I remember coming to the racetrack, and we was here that night, and Rick Gusson was supposed to drive it for Jimmy that night, but he couldn't get in the seat. So Jimmy's running around trying to find someone to drive it, and Wayne, my brother, goes to Jimmy. He goes, "Well, Ron, drive it." Unbeknownst to me,
good job, Wayne.
And Jimmy comes to me and he goes, "Drive the car." And I said, "No, we're not going to do with this thing. No, I don't." And he hounded me, and I finally said, "Okay, here's the deal." I said, "I will get in it for hot laps, but if I go out after hot laps and I don't want nothing to do with it," I said, I'm out. And he goes, "Deal." So I go out for hot laps. Of course, I feel horrible, like crap. I'm out of my element altogether. I don't like it, don't care for it, not so ever. I pull in the pits. I said, "Nah, don't want nothing to do with it." And Jimmy, you know how Jimmy is with his stopwatch. Stopwatch
But
is
you
the
were
king.
fast.
That's exactly right. He goes, "Look at this. You've never been in one of these before." And I said, I don't want to do this. And he
And then he
convinced
said
me.
a prayer over you,
Yeah.
and then you decided to drive. I can hear this whole thing going down now.
So then I gave in, and I don't remember where we finished in our heat race. We finished good enough to make the redraw, and then I remember passing. Got up to second. I think I started like 8th or something like that, and I was up to second. And Mark Mandel was leading the race that night, and we was down to 3 or 4 laps to go, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, maybe I got a chance here." And I was kind of running Mark down, and them damn tires they have in the infield.
It's been a topic of conversation in the last 24
and
hours.
it basically ripped the whole left front of the car, and off the car, and I was like, "Oh my!" They put it on the wrecker, and I didn't even want to go back to the trailer. And Jimmy was ecstatic of how good we ran that night. He didn't care that I tore the car up, and that kind of gave me the bug, I guess, not so much for the modified. But for me, I always wanted to be in a late model. I always was a fan of Billy Moyer, Jr. And I always wanted to get in a late model. And so from '98 come around, I had someone interested in a stock car, and I had called C.J. Rayburn, and basically he had a car that had been wrecked. They had to put a tail on it, and I'd put my name on the list for that car. And I went home and told my lovely wife that I'm going to buy a late model. And
I can see this conversation.
And she was like, it
glad
wasn't
you
that she was
survived this.
completely against it. It was that she goes, "No." She goes, "We're going to have to travel everywhere we go." Because, it'd been Des Moines or Burlington or Marshtown or Webster City or, stuff like that. And she goes, "The kids, I don't want to do that with the kids. We're so lucky to come out here and watch you race." And she's like, "What about maybe just buying a modified?" So then I called CJ back, and I explained the situation, and he said, "You're not the first one that's told me that." So
and
then,
not the last.
Yeah,
and
probably
so
not.
then I ended up buying a Race Mark car off of Jim Hughes, and one that Terry Schroeder had been driving. And so then kind of the rest is history from there. Even though I did still drive stock car for Joe and Sharon Ferguson, and we had some really good success with them, and drove a stock car for Danny Gordon a little bit, and had some pretty good success with him, So I guess the people that my wife and obviously the guys, the people that always help me or whatever, I think they always kind of quietly wish I'd have probably stayed in the stock car class, but I guess I wouldn't say I was bored with that. I was kind of ready to move to the next
Yeah,
Well,
the
especially if
next
you want to go
challenge.
late model racing, modified's kind of that next.
It's a progression,
It's
right?
a progression. I mean, and
And I still thought maybe that would happen. But that's one car that I've always wanted to get in that I've never been inside of.
Anyone that has a spare car for the Gary Wilson Memorial coming up here in a few weeks might know a guy that needs to get a ride.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get in a competitive late model. You know what I mean, if possible, just to know what it's like, just to say that I did it. And in my career, and we're
gonna have Steve edit this clip here of you saying you want to get him one. We'll try to get you one for the Wilson.
Yeah,
no
right.
promises, but maybe.
Yeah.
There's definitely a draw to that, right? I mean, that much horsepower, that much aerodynamics, that much tire, that much brake.
Yeah, and I might completely suck at it. I mean, but that's okay. I mean, I just would like to,
But you
to
also
know what
ran at a high level of modified racing. I mean, you've ran with the USMTS, and I mean you've ran in a lot of really good cars over the years, and you have a lot of experience.
Right. Yeah, and interestingly, the modified, when you got into that, was certainly going through a transitional phase at Oskaloosa from the IMCA type cars into more the USRA or USMTS style as the promoters kind of changed and the rules kind of migrated more towards that open modified over the years, so that led you down that same then progression, right?
Yes, yeah. So in '99 when I bought my first car, I mean obviously it was IMCA still, all the way up to, I think Todd and Janet took it over in 5 or 6, somewhere in that area.
It was 2006.
6, and so I had bought that Racemart car. We wrecked it at the end of the year. We had a cut and torch party that we all loved so much because we hated that car with a passion. and
is
then
it like the scene from The Office where they beat the crap out of the printer?
Yeah, we would just
Office Space.
We'd had
Office Space,
plenty of barley malts and just started taking the torch and the sawzall. It was in chunks before the end of the night. And then I went from that. I bought a BMS car, and then drove for Jim Reeder out of Newton, and he had a Willie Craft car for a year, and then from there went back to my BMS. Then I sold the BMS car, and then I bought a Victory modified, and then I sold out everything in 2006, and that's when the transition happened. And a guy out of Nebraska, I put it up for sale. He came and bought everything I had. I was done. And then next thing you know, Jim Vanderbeek approaches me about, Kelly Shryock. I kind of went to Jim and Zach along the lines of something like that and said, how do we get Ron in one of my cars? And I was ready to be done, move on with life or whatever. And next thing I know, there's a Skyrocket sitting in my shop. So then from there, then that's when I started. I mean, I'd already been running some I started when I ran for Jimmy. I'd ran some USMS stuff before Todd and Janet took it over. So I'd already kind of been running progressively with those guys. I mean, off and on, even with the other cars.
Yeah, and back then there wasn't a ton of difference, right, between the cars?
Correct.
Yeah.
A motor difference, but the tires basically were about all the same. I think we was all on either McCreary's or American Racers or whatever it was back then, and put a spoiler on your IMCA car and basically get to go run with those guys. And, you could be somewhat competitive, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when the track slowed down a little bit, kind of brought the smaller IMCA style power more into play.
But, the biggest problem with us back then is we all put the spoilers on, and we would still struggle because it would tighten the car up so much. We just didn't know to free the car up to compensate for it. But still had a lot of fun doing it. To race with Kelly Shryock and Tommy Meyer and Ron Jones and those guys was a big deal. I mean, it really was. These dudes travel. It's like running with the World of Outlaws. You know what I mean? So
pretty big time Midwestern modified group that was running that USMS deal, and which transformed into the USMTS that it still is today.
Yeah. So then when Todd took over Oski, then obviously we basically kind of converted everything, you might say, to USRA, USMTS car. So and then that's basically where I finished at. I left it that way when Todd and Janet quit promoting here at Oskaloosa in 2011 was their last year. I chose not to convert the car back to IMCA simply because IMCA had not made the conversion yet to a quick change for number one, and it was going to cost a fortune, you know, because it was going to be motor, control arms, spindles, shocks, transmission, but
Some
bell
driveline
housing,
stuff,
fuel
you know.
pumps, water, you know, all that stuff. I mean, so it was a big deal.
Yeah, not
And-
an inexpensive transition at all.
Once you're crawling underneath the race car and you're taking 2 little gears out and putting 2 little gears in, you're not wanting to go back to a 9-inch Ford.
Yeah, I can agree with you 100% on that. So,
but yeah. So I mean, that's kind of the progression, you might say, that occurred, and then just kept in the modified, you know, until I decided that until, you know, and then in 15 I sold, 14 I sold everything, and then that's when Doug France called and wanted me to drive one night for him at Webster City. And then next thing I know, he and I are racing together, and we were together for 8 years until he passed away. And then I decided I wanted to finish a career on my own terms, you might say. So then I was lucky enough that Zach had a car that had been wrecked, and Doug and I had always talked about trying to get a Vanderbilt car, just never was in the cards. And so then I fixed that car and went racing with it, and that car was bad to the bone.
Yeah,
I
no
love
doubt.
that car. You know,
no doubt.
I'm always thankful to Zach for that opportunity, because I think for me to finish off my year that way with a couple 3 wins and just being super competitive everywhere and good car, you know, and it just worked. It just worked, you know.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point that a lot of people probably don't fully understand, but there's something very powerful about, you know, that closure or that ability to, you know, hey, I can still, you know, not that you're trying to prove anything to anybody any more than maybe just yourself, you know, but to go out there and run like you did with that car was definitely impressive, and
Thanks.
and left you know, you're able to leave a mark at the end of your car owning career.
Yeah, I wanted to I guess I wanted to do that, you know, in honor of Doug too. I mean, when Doug passed away, he and I raced at Webster City on a Friday night, and I couldn't make Saturday nights, the fall futurity that they had up there, and because I had other commitments, family commitments, and then I got the phone call on Saturday, you know, and he was going to have someone else drive the car that night, but I mean, that was our last race together. And I just knew that I needed to help Michelle get rid of sell race car stuff. So I just decided to buy it all myself and was going to run that car. And then this came available. And I also wanted to do right by Zach. I wanted him to be proud of me, you know, to do the best I could with that car. And I think I hope I made everybody proud by that, and I hope I had Doug looking down with a big smile on his face.
I think you did.
I think without a doubt. So.
And you know, I think that's the really cool thing is, you know, Zach obviously watched you growing up, everything. Now he's in this position where he owns Vanderbilt, and you've been, you know, an instrumental role in that. And you.
Oh, I don't know about that. I've probably been more a pain in the butt than anything.
I know you've been a pretty big help from what I've heard, and you know, now that
I'm the one that
you're helping Zach out.
Yeah,
some, you know, you're there on Wednesday nights with.
I'm taking up space
with him and whatnot. Why don't you tell us a little bit about transitioning kind of into that role with him, where you're helping him now and everything that you're doing now with Zach.
So as a race car driver, a lot of racers, as we both know, can't transition to be a fan. Once they're out of the race car, they simply cannot go back to the racetrack. They just can't do it because they're just like, I gotta have a car. They just can't do it. So they go golf and they hate life, and you know, I mean, I'm not saying golfing is bad because
No.
I enjoy it.
But it's not the same.
But it's not the same.
yeah.
There's nothing that gives you that same, and I don't want to call it a rush. It's like I've told my wife. I said the thing that I miss about racing is you get to shut your brain off to everything else in the world, and there's nothing else that I've ever done in my life that does that for me.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I
You
think
know
you're-
that. You've been in a car. It's just some guys say I get on my motorcycle but it's not. I get on my bike and no, it's not the same. It's never been about speed. It's been about that time alone, that time where your brain gets to reset, refresh. It's like having a great night of sleep every time you get in a race car.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, and the other aspect of it too that I think that not everyone fully understands until you do it. Racing, to maybe not everybody, but to most people who take it very seriously, like you did, it's less something that you do and more part of who you are.
Yeah, I would say that's right.
You know, it's not. And again, I'm not bashing golf, right? Golf is something you do.
Yeah.
You know, riding motorcycles is something that you do, right? Going camping or going boating is something that you do, whereas the race car side of it is really melted into so many facets of your life.
Correct.
Whether that's your family, your friends, you know, they're all involved with it, and they all do it with you, and it just it becomes this.
You don't ever shut your brain off to it.
Right.
No, and there's
You wake up, you think about it. You're at work, you're thinking about it. You get off work, you're thinking about it. You go to bed. Oh, what did I forget to do?
Yeah, wake up in the middle of the night with this idea to fix
Yes,
that handling problem
that's right.
you've got.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. And if I don't get it and write it down, I'm going to forget
I
about
gotta
it.
get up.
And that's the thing about racing is, you know, when you first become a fan, the first time you go to a race, for me it was my mom. She's retiring this week. She's been a teacher
awesome.
at Knoxville School District for 38 years.
Cool. Congrats
So
to her.
So with my mom teaching there, you know, obviously some of the local drivers, their moms worked in that school, and Becky Schilling was one of my mom's aides at the school.
Cool.
And Becky would bring my mom, her son Tony Schilling raced Knoxville for a long time. He was a local driver, and Tony would have old shirts and stuff left over, and Becky would give them to my mom to give to me. She's like, hey, you have a little boy, you know, here's some shirts. I remember the first time my mom came home with one of those shirts, it was like the greatest thing ever. Like, what's this? Whoa, this is cool, a sprint car, you know. And then that became, you know, one year I wanted to dress as Tony Schilling for Halloween. So Becky gave my mom one of their fire suits they had. She brought it home with a helmet, and I got to be Tony Schilling for Halloween. That became the only thing for Christmas I wanted, was a Tony Schilling diecast. So we found a Jack Hodenshield car that was yellow, lettered it with his number on it, put his own hero card in it, and that's what I got for Christmas that year.
That's awesome.
And then became him taking me to some races and stuff. So when you become a fan and you get hooked on it like that, there's nothing that can compare to that, because it's someone taking the time. When you go and you see that you're a fan and they understand that, they get you kind of hooked into that, and then you realize how wonderful the racing group is. You know, it's a very close family, and when you find out and then you become a driver, then you really see we're all out here competing on Wednesday nights, Friday nights, Saturday night, whatever night it might be, but everyone's still there for each other at the end of it. You know, if you have an issue, you can go to one of them and they'll be more than willing. Most of them are more than willing to help you and things like that. Because when I was racing, I had no money. I mean, I probably did not belong in a race car, to be honest.
Whatever it takes, though.
But I wanted to be there, and the amount of support that I got, even though I wasn't great, I knew I wasn't going to win a feature. But then, like Ron says, you get out there on the track, even like that, it's this whole different process your brain goes into, and it's something you can't explain. It is like getting a good night's sleep. I got out of the car and I'm like, man, you know, it's an experience unlike anything else. And then the first time you pass a car, that's even different, because then it's like, not only are you, you know, out there racing, but now you're starting to pass people. Now your brain goes into, okay, I passed one, now I can pass two. Now,
Right.
It's such a different feeling than anything else. And until you truly do it, I mean, this is why people do it. A lot of them do it for a long time. And Ron, you were you were in it for such a long time. And then, like you said, it's hard to step away, and you really haven't stepped away from it. You're still helping Zach some, and we know that, we could see you in a car again probably whenever you wanted to an extent. You have a lot of people in your corner to help get you in a car, but I think it's just it's crazy that people that don't understand racing say, oh, well, it's just a hobby or whatever, and it is to an extent, but it's also
it's
is part of who you are when you get into it.
It is, and I'm not. When we talk about how you clear your mindset, I'm not saying that other sports don't do the same thing. I really think they do, especially when they're in the moment, in the game. Whether it be basketball, baseball, hockey, or whatever. I mean, especially a sport that's always on the move. Similar to hockey or basketball. I mean, those guys and gals are into it at that moment, like we are in the racing at the moment. So it's just, I don't know, like I said, it's really hard to explain, and you're right, I'm still involved. I'm a fan. I love to watch good races. I really do. Nothing is more boring than sitting at a racetrack doing nothing, and the track turns into a one-lane piece of crap.
Right.
And I think I can say that for everybody. And it's no different as a driver. I mean, you're just sitting there, putting along doing nothing. I mean, it's no fun. But as a fan, and I enjoy going with Zach. I mean, and I probably would with most anybody for that matter. But I mean, he and I have been good enough friends for a long time that he knows what to expect with me anymore. Unfortunately, I used to be able to embarrass the hell out of him, and it doesn't happen anymore. So. But I probably could, but I'm not sure he's going to like how it goes. But, but he knows what to expect with me. I kind of know what to expect with him, and just, helping him out gives me that taste, you might say, still. And,
the connection, too.
Yeah, the connection,
And so the other thing I want to talk to you about here is keyboard warriors are out there like crazy. And the one thing that I always hear, not only online, but certain fans, not going to name anyone, they always say, well, Oski's not, the racing isn't what it used to be.
Of course it's not.
The car counts aren't as high. And I know Curtis and I have had this conversation a few times on here, but you have been part of this for so long, and you get to see not only this next generation coming up, but you're seeing the racing that's happening, here and at some of the other tracks. Why don't you give us your perspective on where we're at with the sport right now?
It's progression, non-progression. It's expense. It's it's everything involved. Races are still good here. Not maybe every night, but they still have good races here in Oskaloosa. I believe that the Fair Board's doing the best they possibly can, track conditions, yada, yada, yada. It's no different back in the day when we raced out here all the time. Some nights you would get good track, some nights you wouldn't. I mean, it's just part of it. It's dirt track racing. It's not a piece of asphalt, so you're not going to, so that can change, that variable can change every week. I think racing is at a crossroads to an extent. The expense of racing is gotten way up there. However, that being said, we are not able to go back because the junkyard parts aren't available like they used to be. So that's not even an option anymore.
Right.
Or to make, you could still make a few things. Don't get me wrong. But it's pretty much you have to buy what you need now. I mean, that's just how it is.
That's the reality.
That's the reality of where we are in 2026. We're not 1986 or 2006. I mean, so even in that amount of time, it's just changed a ton. Even from when I started to 20 years later to now 40 years later. So I think racing is somewhat okay. It's just on the local level, except for a few tracks that get a bunch of cars. It's just I don't know. It's a tough. I don't think it's got something maybe to do with the bigger tracks. However, I don't think it's as much of, if you cut down the racetrack and make it smaller, you're going to double, triple your field. Not going to happen. It's not. I just don't see that happening. Some people say, we need to go to Saturday nights, we need to go to Friday nights. Well, possibly. However, those people that now come here on Wednesday night as fans might not be able to come Saturday, simply either because they got a child doing something on Saturday, or they've got a boat or a camper of their own, and that's what they do on the weekends.
Or maybe they've got a Friday or Saturday night track that they go to.
That's right.
Otherwise,
that's right.
Same with the competitors.
Correct.
And that's. I think you're right. That's kind of the thing that we've always. It's easy to say that. It's another thing to prove that out.
I don't know if I would have raced as much as I did if we wouldn't have had Wednesday night races.
Yeah.
I really don't. It was easy for us, because all of us basically lived right here.
Yeah.
We would go to Eldon, but that was something different. But for the Wednesday night was a deal for me because it was just right here. And obviously we had local sponsors, so that helped as well. But yeah, I don't know. To me, Oski has never. It's a fast track. Some guys say, it's too fast. Speed has never been for me. It's never been a speed deal for me. It really hasn't. There's been some tracks I've been on that's been fast. Oskaloosa is one of them, especially when you're a US MTS car with an 80 or 90-inch blade and it's got a heavy track. Deer Creek Speedway is the same way. When there's a ring around the top and there's something to lean on, it's fast. But there's 3 tracks: Oski, Deer Creek, and for me was Belleville, Kansas. Belleville was insane.
The giant circle.
Yeah.
But
it's just I don't know. I think we're in a spot that we'll just have to see how things go in the next few years. The other issue is the young ones that come out of go-karts that want to get into a big car. They can't swing it, plus try to have a family and the job and all. They got to have uncle, dad, grandpa, or a big supportive family or friends, to help that out, because it's just not for me like I did. It's just not available. It's just not there anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on. I think you nailed it, buddy. It's a deal that it always takes a big support system to do something like the racing. So well said.
Well, thank you, Ron, for coming on and spending some time with us. Again, congratulations for being nominated into the Southeast Iowa Hall of Fame here, and
thank you.
We'll see you at the track here soon, I'm sure. So
yeah, I hope so.
Awesome.
Well, folks, that's going to wrap up tonight's interview on TNT, the Tuesday Night Tune-Up. We'll be back with some results and some other racing action here in just a few minutes.
Schedule your next dental appointment with Dr. Dan Schuster at Oski Dental, 641-673-4845. They're accepting new patients. Oski Dental will file all of your insurance forms for you. They're a Delta dental provider. And Oski Dental is located at 902 South 17th Street in Oskaloosa. That's Oski Dental, 641-673-4845. We make smiles happen at Oski Dental. Stop by James Family Greenhouse and Produce in Sigourney. They have a variety of hanging baskets, annuals, shrubs, perennials, trees, mulch, and vegetable plants. Plus, you can spruce up your landscape with yard decor or decorate the inside of your home with home decor. James Family Greenhouse is also a great place to stop in for some gift ideas. You gotta stop in and see it all for yourself. James Family Greenhouse at 701 East Jackson in Sigourney. And be sure to follow their page on Facebook. If you've had a run-in with a deer, a fender bender, or any sort of accident with your vehicle, take it to Tony and the guys at Sigourney Body Shop at 210 West Clark Street in Sigourney. They'll get you back on the road in no time, and Tony will help you out with a free estimate. It's service with a smile at Sigourney Body Shop. Give them a call at 641-622-2022, or again, stop in at 210 West Clark Street in Sigourney.
Hi, I'm Krista Sellers, driver of the 7K Figure 8 race truck. I race at local Figure 8 tracks across southern Iowa. One of my good sponsors is CJ at Sigourney Motors. Next time you or someone you know is looking for a good used vehicle or in need of some minor repairs, you can contact CJ at Sigourney Motors. Give them a call at 641-224-8056 or stop by 705 East Jackson Street in Sigourney, Iowa. Hope to see you at the races or at CJ's shop.
Vans Racing in Oskaloosa is your local one-stop shop for all racing and performance-related parts, sales, and service. With a combined 50-plus years of racing knowledge and experience, Curtis and Cole are ready to help you go faster, have more fun, and save money. From driver safety equipment to race tires and racing fuel to racing lubricants, Vans Racing has you covered with all major brands. Stop by 705 South D Street in Oskaloosa or call 641-660-8900 to experience the Vans Racing difference.
Looking to stay ahead of the pack this racing season? Make your first stop Glory Motorsports, your one-stop shop for race parts, tires, and fuel. Everything you need to keep your car fast and race ready. And here's the best part. Glory Motorsports brings the parts to you with trackside parts at the Southern Iowa Speedway, Marshalltown Speedway, and Stewart Speedway. Trackside convenience, top quality gear, winning performance. Don't miss a lap. Get what you need when you need it with Glory Motorsports. For more info, give them a call or find Glory Motorsports LLC on Facebook.
Hey, we're bringing it back to the Rock Island Tap in Oskaloosa for our final segment on the Tuesday night tune-up. Let's take it back to Safe and Curtis. Guys.
Welcome back, race fans, to TNT, the Tuesday night tune-up. And before we talk about the results, let's talk about some racing coming up here this week, just so we make sure we get that in. Tomorrow night at the Southern Iowa Speedway, we will have some great racing action. Yep. I believe the vintage cars are coming down as well, so good racing tomorrow night here. And then this Friday and Saturday night is the Redneck Rally here at the Southern Iowa Speedway as well. So a lot of big events here this week. And then Sunday, just got to put this plug in, racing out at the barn at on Highway 92. So we'll do some RC car racing out at my shop this coming Sunday. So a lot of racing action here in Oskaloosa this coming weekend. So and week.
Yeah, busy 4 or 5 days. That's for sure. So
absolutely
be awesome to see.
Yeah, so we have some great results. We had a lot of great racing action in the great state of Iowa over the last few days here. So
yeah, pretty big weekend for it.
Absolutely. So Columbus Junction Speedway kicked off Friday night. Hobby Stocks, Braden Wood picked up a win in the 52B car. So good to see Braden getting some more wins in that car.
Yeah,
I know he's a very excited young man. Unfortunately, last night did not go his way over at Bloomfield. So
yeah, definitely not the best night for him, but you're going to have that, right?
You
Take the highs and the lows.
Absolutely. And Tom Berry Jr. picked up a win in the modified over at Columbus Junction. So Tom's starting to do a little more traveling. Growing the legs there on the 11 cars, so good to see Tom picking up a win. Stock cars, Jordan Miles picked up a win, and in sport mods, Cole Vanderwall, name we've said now quite a few times, picking up another W.
Yeah, he did a really, really good job, and we made the right adjustments to the car, and it was plenty good, and he did a great job driving it. Did exactly what he needed to do at the right times, and it's obviously fun to watch as a dad, but
also terrifying at the same time.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's it's just one of those deals.
Oh, yeah.
So.
That's awesome. And Davenport had some good racing actions. Jed Freiberg picked up the modified win. Carter Miles picked up the hobby stock win. They had some vintage late models over there. Randy Christener picked up that win. They have a Crown Vic class over there as well, another growing class. Thing we're seeing a lot. Derek Dean picked up the win there, and then they had some dirt late models, some super dirt late models.
The Mars series,
Yep, the Mars series. And Jason Ferger picking up a win. He is no stranger to Victory Lane at Davenport whatsoever.
Yeah,
so.
or Victory Lanes anywhere in the eastern Iowa, Illinois area.
Yeah.
They have a very good program and run really good on that Mars deal. And then as the Mars kind of season gets paused for summer nationals, then it kind of picks back up afterwards. So he's involved in both of those. And
it's a great series.
Yeah, really cool.
It's awesome. And then Lee County had a special with the Sprint Invaders. Another one of those great local kind of Midwestern 360 sprint car touring series.
Always fun to watch. Be at the Southern Iowa Speedway later this year.
Yeah.
And, I know they've been to CJ and now Lee County and
Eldon.
Yeah, just a great series that well run and gets good quality cars and usually puts on pretty good racing.
Yeah, and Cam Martin picked up a win. So the younger of the two Martin brothers. So always good to see, some of those guys able to travel well and get some wins. They had Sport Mods as well over there. Brandon Dale.
Yep.
No stranger to Victory Lane in southeast Iowa, Missouri, Illinois area. And John Oliver Jr. winning in stock cars. Again, another kind of one of those household names.
No stranger to Victory Lane either,
and,
one of those guys.
They ran vintage mods over there as well, and Blake Chapman picked up a win there.
Yeah.
So good racing action down at Lee County. Always a fun track to go and watch a race at. And speaking of watching races, the World Outlaws had a nice kind of a 2-day deal swing through here.
Yeah, rolled into Knoxville last weekend.
Rolled into Knoxville for their Stars and Stripes race. And so they ran the 360s with them, and your 360 winner was Tasker Phillips, who has won, I think he's won back-to-back 360 features at Knoxville. So
that's awesome.
He's having a lot of success right now. And then another name, shocked to say in Victory Lane, Aaron Reitzel. So he has just been on the last month that RSR car has came to life, and they're starting to pick up a lot of wins in that.
Yeah, they're hitting on all cylinders for sure there.
They are. So then they went over to Huset's the other night, and Buddy Kofoid ended up picking up a win at Huset's. So we're seeing some of those other series drivers pick up some wins, and it seems like a high limit guy will win, and then a World Outlaw guy will win. So
kind of fueling that competition between the two
that
series.
fire is going very strong.
Yep.
So
stokes the flames.
And then Bloomfield raced yesterday.
Yeah, last night.
They had the SLMR late models there as part of the show, and Chad Simpson picking up the win in the SLMR late model class. Hobby Stocks, Tom Killen Jr. picked up a win. Modifieds, Corey Sample.
Yep.
Good to see Corey getting out there and getting some victories. And then Stock Cars, another name that gets said a lot. Derek Agee picked up a win in the Stock Cars in that new Vanderbilt car. And then Bray Carter here from Oskaloosa picking up a win in the Sport Mod division. So, again, Derek, Bray, both guys that have raced at Oski quite a bit, just, again, showing that, Oski people travel and they win.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And then we had Lucas Oil have some weather troubles last weekend. They were supposed to be there for at Lucas Oil Series at Lucas Oil Speedway for the Show Me 100, and they had some weather cancellations and moving things, and still got everything in, but had a whale of a 100-lap feature.
Boy, I tell you what, that was a feature and a half. That
was a show.
That was a lot of laps. That was a lot of intense racing. I would say.
Yeah, no doubt. And Bobby Pierce, claimed the victory after not qualifying through the preliminary nights and having to run a B feature before the feature, and qualified in that way. And boy, you give those guys that many swings at the racetrack, and they're going to get it figured out, and they're
going to hit a homer, and he sure back to back too.
Yeah, big time deal. So, kudos to those guys for being able to get that handled.
Absolutely. And one last thing we want to talk about here is I'm sure everyone has heard it was a hard weekend in motorsports as well. He raced in late models more known so in the NASCAR side, but the passing of Kyle Busch, very tragically, a very hard way to go. And so our thoughts are with Samantha, Brexton, the whole family. I mean, that was all of Richard Childress Racing as well. I mean, that was
definitely
not the
a hard
news
deal.
I was expecting to hear at all.
Very surprising.
Yeah, going from illness to not being with us anymore. So just kind of a crazy weekend, as you would put it, in motorsports all around. So a lot of highs and definitely a very low.
Pretty somber with that deal. So
absolutely. So again, there's a lot of great racing action coming up this week. So make sure you go support your local track, whether it's figure eight, a drag race, a asphalt track, a dirt track. Go support your local tracks, folks. It's the only way that they can keep going.
Try to bring somebody with you if you can.
Take someone new. You might make a fan that becomes a driver that could become a Hall of Fame member someday. You never know. You never know. The next Ron Verbeek could be out there.
That's right.
And we might not have found him yet. So, again, we want to thank you all for tuning in and watching this week's episode of TNT, the Tuesday Night Tune-Up, live here from the Tap in Oskaloosa. And we will catch you all at the races.
All righty. Thank you, Safe. Thanks to Ron once again. And coming up next week, one of our guests will be Cale Hemsley. So tune in. We'll probably have a second guest lined up for next week as well. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Rock Island Tap for being our host venue, Bates Funeral Chapel, Nutrien Ag Solutions in Keswick, Copeland Auto Body, Signs Plumbing, Southern Iowa Speedway, Oski Dental, James Family Greenhouse, Sigourney Body Shop, Sigourney Motors, Vans Racing, and Glory Motorsports.